We descend without announcement, not as visitors, but as weight entering weight, where sound loosens its grip and time begins to widen. The water closes above us slowly, thick with suspended particles, each one a fragment of erosion, memory, or quiet decay. Light follows for a short distance, thinning as it goes, losing definition, retreating until only a diluted presence remains. What replaces it is not darkness, but a muted continuity, a pressure that does not move, only settles. Here, depth does not intimidate, it instructs. The lagoon does not reveal itself all at once. It allows only fragments, a shadow that does not resolve, a vertical line where none should exist, a plane that interrupts the natural slope of the seabed. Forms emerge without urgency. Steel does not shine, it absorbs, it waits. The water carries no sense of event, no echo of violence, only the ongoing labor of suspension. Silt drifts through the frame like ash that never fell, like snow that forgot the sky. Nothing here is in a hurry. Nothing needs to be. This place was once defined by intention, by planning, by routes drawn across open water and decisions made far above the surface. It was a point of convergence for movement, supply, and expectation. Ships arrived not as relics, but as instruments full of fuel, cargo, food, and the quiet certainty that still water meant safety. Anchored beneath the tropical sun, they rested in a lagoon that appeared calm, contained, and distant from consequence. The water was clear, the horizon wide, the silence persuasive. Now the lagoon holds those intentions without commentary. Hulls lie intact, not broken by spectacle, but softened by time. Coral traces their edges patiently, outlining what was once rigid with a gentler geometry. Cargo holds remain open, their contents long settled or dispersed, their emptiness now shared with fish that move through them without recognition. Steel beams form corridors that no longer led anywhere. Decks slope gradually into sediment, becoming indistinguishable from the seabed itself. The line between vessel and environment is thinned. The ocean has not erased these structures, it has layered them. Rust blooms across metal surfaces not as damage but as transition. Oxidation is slow, methodical, indifferent. What was once maintained is now processed. What was once sealed is now porous. Water circulates freely through spaces that were built to exclude it. This is not destruction, it is absorption. Life has adapted where intention stopped. Schools of fish pass through gun mounts without pause. Algae draped itself over cables that once carried tension. Coral grows along edges shaped by human hands, following curves designed for function, not beauty. The lagoon does not distinguish between natural and constructed forms. Everything submerged becomes material. Everything material becomes habitat. Memory here is not preserved in names or dates, but in surfaces and textures. There are no bodies. There are no gestures frozen in place. Human presence is registered only through absence, through objects left where hands last rested, through rooms that imply use without depicting it. A helmet leans against a bulkhead, its shape intact, its purpose expired. A compass lies tilted on the floor of a flooded compartment, its needle fixed, still pointing somewhere that no longer applies. Tools remain where they were set down, not abandoned in panic, but released when urgency dissolved. Hands left before conclusions. The struggle that led here does not announce itself loudly, it does not require reenactment. It is embedded in scale and logistics and the density of ships gathered too closely, in the infrastructure that assumed permanence and the belief that anchorage equaled security. Confidence does not leave scars, it leaves arrangements. The lagoon preserves those arrangements exactly as they were when motion ceased. The moment of rupture is not visible. It is implied by what follows. There are no aircraft in memory here, no fire, no sound of impact carried through the water. The break arrives as weight, not force, as settling, not collapse. Decks give way slowly, superstructures lean and rest, silt enters evenly, without preference. The ocean closes not with violence, but with completion. Afterward, everything becomes quiet work. Currents move where commands once echoed, pressure replaces instruction. The labor of decay proceeds without oversight. Metal contracts and expands imperceptibly. Sediment accumulates grain by grain. Nothing interrupts this process, nothing accelerates it. The lagoon does not revisit the moment, it continues from it. Time behaves differently here, it does not advance in steps, it accumulates. Layers form not by sequence, but by presence. Each year leaves a trace so thin it is almost nothing, together they become mass. The ships do not age visibly, they are altered gradually, continuously, without milestones. Their transformation has no climax. Only duration. Silence is not empty. It is structured. Low-frequency pressure hums beneath perception, a constant reminder of depth. Metal shifts occasionally, producing sounds too soft to locate. Cables tighten and release with the movement of water. Sonar reflections return incomplete, their echoes absorbed by irregular surfaces. The lagoon speaks only in fragments, and even those are restrained. Nothing here asks to be remembered. There are no markers, no inscriptions, no explanations. Yet nothing is forgotten. The ocean keeps what history releases. It holds these vessels not as trophies or warnings, but as evidence of a moment when human ambition intersected with geography and lost its claim to control. What remains is not victory or defeat, but continuity. The ships have become part of the seabed's grammar. They influence currents, they shelter life, they alter the way light falls and shadows gather. Their presence changes the ecosystem not through dominance, but through submission. By staying where they fell, they participate in the lagoon's slow equilibrium. This is not a graveyard in the human sense. It is a memory field, diffuse, unmarked, ongoing. Loss is not localized, it is distributed across steel and coral, across water and absence. The lagoon does not mourn, it maintains. As we begin to rise, the wrecks recede without gesture. Their outlines soften and dissolve into the same muted gradients that revealed them. Light strengthens slightly, but clarity does not return. The surface remains distant, irrelevant. What matters has already been absorbed below. We leave without ceremony. The water closes again, undisturbed by our passage. The lagoon resumes its work unobserved, uninterrupted. What it holds, it will continue to hold, not as a story retold, but as a condition sustained.